Welcome to my channel Official History of Coins. What could be the most important few minutes of your life if you have ever held, touched, or even glanced at a large, heavy dollar coin from the 1972 D. Today, we are embarking on a thrilling journey into the hidden world of American numismatics. Let's get started. Imagine holding a piece of American history in the palm of your hand that isn't just worth a dollar, but a fortune that could genuinely alter the trajectory of your life. The world of coin collecting is filled with whispers of life-changing discoveries, and at the very heart of these modern-day treasure hunts lies the often overlooked Eisenhower dollar. Specifically, the bicentennial issues and the elusive 1972 D varieties are the stuff of numismatic legend. While many remember using these large, hefty coins in arcades or vending machines, or receiving them as change from a toll booth, the vast majority of the population has no idea that certain versions of these same coins have been appraised for sums that can reach into the hundreds of thousands, and in one spectacular case, nearly $1 million. We aren't talking about ancient gold doubloons from sunken galleons. These are relatively modern pieces of U.S. currency, hiding in plain sight in old sock drawers, forgotten piggy banks, and inherited collections, just waiting to be recognized for their true, staggering value. To understand the potential windfall sitting in your change, you must first understand the unique historical moment these coins represent. The Eisenhower dollar, minted from 1971 to 1978, was the last of the large-sized dollar coins in the United States. It was a tribute to two monumental American achievements: the life of President Dwight D. Eisenhower and the incredible success of the Apollo 11 moon landing. The obverse features a striking portrait of Ike, while the reverse originally depicted an eagle landing on the moon. However, for the nation's 200th birthday in 1976, the design was temporarily changed to something truly iconic. The reverse was replaced with a rendition of the Liberty Bell superimposed against the moon, a powerful symbol of America's past and its future aspirations. This bicentennial issue, dated 1776 to 1976, is the one most people recognize. But not all of these coins are created equal. The difference between a coin worth its face value and one worth a down payment on a house often comes down to microscopic details, mint marks, and the sheer luck of preservation. Let's cut through the noise and address the millions of dollars claims you've heard. While the vast majority of these coins are common, the market has seen sales that genuinely approach life-changing money. The undisputed king of the Eisenhower dollar family is the 1976 S/NOS Type 2 proof coin. This coin is the holy grail for modern collectors. As the story goes, all proof coins intended for collectors were supposed to be struck at the San Francisco Mint and bear an S mint mark. However, a handful of proof coins were mistakenly struck without any mint mark at all, likely as trial pieces at the Philadelphia Mint. Of these, only one Type 2 reverse proof is known to exist in the entire world. It is a unique artifact, a one-of-a-kind mistake that has been valued by experts at an astounding $850,000. Imagine finding that in an old collection. That is the definition of a fortune changer, a coin so rare that it transcends the hobby and enters the realm of high-stakes artifacts. But you don't need a unique, one-of-a-kind coin to see a massive return on your investment. The bicentennial coins themselves have specific varieties that command breathtaking premiums, particularly when found in pristine condition. For instance, the Philadelphia and Denver mints produced two different reverse types for the bicentennial dollar. The Type 1, struck in 1975 for inclusion in mint sets, features bold, blocky lettering. The Type 2, struck later, has thinner, more refined letters. While millions were made, finding them in a state of perfect preservation, graded MS 67 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC, is incredibly difficult. A 1976 D-Type 1 clad dollar in MS 67 condition sold for a staggering $9,600. Even more impressive, a common-looking 1976 Type 2 Philadelphia dollar, the kind you might dismiss as pocket change, set a record when one in MS 67 plus condition sold for $10,800. These are not silver coins. They are copper-nickel clad coins that cost the government pennies to make, yet their rarity and high grade has turned them into 4- and 5-figure assets. This brings us to the coin you specifically mentioned, The 1972 D Eisenhower Dollar. While it doesn't have the bicentennial reverse, it holds a special, and perhaps misunderstood, place in the value hierarchy. The 1972 D is a fascinating study in supply and demand. According to Numismatic research, the 1972 D is the last Eisenhower dollar that was not sold in mint sets to collectors. This means that unlike later years, where millions were preserved in pristine government packaging, the 1972 D was released directly into the chaotic stream of commerce. It was handled, bagged, jostled, and scratched. Consequently, finding one today in high mint state condition is extraordinarily difficult. As one expert noted, most mint state coins from this issue are heavily marked, and finding a gem is quite scarce. This condition rarity is where the value lies. While a worn 1972 D might be worth only a few dollars, a specimen graded MS 66 or higher can be worth exponentially more, simply because so few survived in that state. You must also understand the split personality of the Eisenhower Dollar series when it comes to its metallic composition. This is a critical factor in determining value. The mint produced two distinct types of planchets, copper-nickel clad for general circulation and a special 40% silver composition for collectors. The silver versions, struck only at the San Francisco Mint, are immediately identifiable by the S mint mark. These coins, often found in original government packaging, the blue envelopes for uncirculated blue Ikes, and the brown boxes for proof, brown Ikes, carry a premium not just for their numismatic value, but for their intrinsic silver content. A standard 1976 S 40% silver proof in PR 69 deep cameo might trade for under $100, but a flawless PR 70 specimen can fetch thousands. The silver provides a safety net of melt value, but the condition is the rocket fuel that sends prices into the stratosphere. The allure of these coins isn't just about the money. It's about the hunt and the history. These pieces were produced during a time of economic upheaval and national pride. The public largely rejected the large dollar coins, finding them too heavy and cumbersome. They ended up sitting in casino vaults in Las Vegas or being stashed away by the public, forgotten for decades. This very lack of circulation is what preserved some of them in better condition than intended. However, it's also the reason why pristine examples are so rare. The sheer size and weight of the coins made them prone to bag marks, unsightly nicks and scratches from clinking against each other in mint bags. A coin without these marks is a tiny miracle of survival, and the market has shown it is willing to pay handsomely for that miracle. Next coin, this is the electrifying reality of the 1978 D Eisenhower Dollar, a coin that stands as the grand finale of America's large dollar coin experiment and a hidden gem in the world of numismatics. While the bicentennial issues of 1976 often steal the spotlight with their iconic Liberty Bell design, the 1978 D holds a secret power all its own. It represents the absolute end of an era, the last time the DenverMint would strike these massive copper-nickel discs for commerce before the era of the small, ill-fated Susan B. Anthony dollar began. This historical significance alone makes it a piece of history, but for those in the know, its true value is superimposed not just by its age, but by a combination of breathtaking rarity and pristine condition that can turn a common coin into a king's ransom. To understand the potential fortune lurking in your collection, you must first appreciate the sheer scale of production and the paradox it creates. The DenverMint churned out over 33 million of these dollars in 1978, making it a seemingly common date. However, the law of supply and demand in the collecting world is not just about how many were made, but how many have survived in a state of absolute perfection. As these coins clinked their way through commerce, they were slammed against each other in heavy mint bags, creating thousands of tiny nicks and marks known as bag marks. Most 1978 D Eisenhowers exist in a sea of these imperfections. But consider this. Numismatic experts estimate that while over 32 million survive in total, a shockingly small number, perhaps only around 7,500, have ever been graded mint state 65 or better. This scarcity in high grade is the first spark that ignites the potential for unimaginable worth. Now, let's talk about the kind of money that can truly change your fortune. We are not talking about a few dollars over face value. We are talking about life-altering sums that have been realized at auction for the 1978 D. The PCGS CoinFacts database, the Bible of the coin-collecting world, notes that the 1978 D is actually the scarcest DenverMint Eisenhower dollar to find in high uncirculated condition. This assessment is backed up by real-world sales that are nothing short of staggering. A single 1978 D Eisenhower dollar, graded MS-67 by the professional coin grading service, once sold for an incredible $7,050. But the market waited, and the value climbed even higher. In January of 2022, another specimen at the same lofty grade shattered expectations by selling for a record-breaking $8,750 on eBay. Imagine finding that in an old sock drawer or a forgotten collection. That is the definition of overnight wealth. The condition of your coin is the single most critical factor separating a piece of pocket change from a five-figure windfall. The difference between an average 1978 D, which might be worth a mere $3.74 in worn condition, and a numismatic superstar is measured in microscopic details. To achieve the coveted MS-67 grade, a coin must defy the odds. It must have survived the minting process and the subsequent decades with virtually no distracting marks, maintaining a sharp strike and full, original luster. It must be a perfect gem that escaped the brutal bagging process that left its brethren scarred. In fact, the survival estimates for coins at this highest level are almost non-existent, with possibly fewer than 1,000 examples reaching MS-66, and only a handful making it to the MS-67 level. Owning one is like owning a unicorn. It is that rare. But what makes this coin so difficult to find in top condition? It all comes down to the minting and handling process. As numismatic historian Q. David Bowers explains, while the typical 1978 D is well struck and moderately lustrous, the vast majority are plagued by those infamous bag marks. These are not flaws from circulation wear, but rather contact marks from other coins, inflicted the moment they were dumped into industrial-sized bags at the mint. Finding a coin that floated to the top of the bag or was carefully handled from a mint set is the key. This is why a raw, ungraded coin might sell for a tiny premium, but a certified gem can be worth thousands. The market for these coins is driven by a relentless pursuit of perfection, and for the 1978 D, perfection is an almost mythical state. The allure of the 1978 D is also deeply intertwined with the rich tapestry of American history and space exploration. The reverse design, featuring a bald eagle descending upon the lunar surface with the Earth rising in the background, is a direct tribute to the Apollo 11 mission. It is a design conceived by Frank Gasparo, based on the mission patch created by astronaut Michael Collins. This means that when you hold a high-grade 1978 D, you aren't just holding a coin. You are holding a metallic tribute to one of humanity's greatest achievements. The obverse, with its powerful portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, connects you to a war hero and a transformative leader. This combination of historical reverence and space-age optimism gives the coin an emotional weight that transcends its metallic composition. It is also crucial to understand the metal from which your fortune is made. Unlike the silver issues of prior years, all standard issue 1978 D Eisenhower dollars are clad coins, composed of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This means their value is almost entirely numismatic, based on their rarity and condition, rather than the melt value of the metal. However, there were also proof versions struck at the San Francisco Mint in 1978, designated with an S mint mark, which were sold to collectors in special sets. These proof coins, with their mirror-like fields and frosted designs, can also be quite valuable, especially in perfect PR70 condition. But for the 1978 D, the treasure hunt is strictly for the business strike coins that somehow escape the normal wear and tear of production. So, how do you know if you are one of the lucky few sitting on a potential $8,000 coin? You must become a detective. First, look for the D mint mark, located just above the date and below Eisenhower's bust. Next, you need to scrutinize the coin's surface under a good light. Are there any scratches, nicks, or marks? If the surface appears clean and the details of Eisenhower's hair and the eagle's feathers are sharp and well-defined, you may have something special. A coin that looks like it just left the mint, with full cartwheel luster and no signs of wear, is the kind of specimen that could be submitted to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. The difference between a $100 coin and an $8,000 coin is often a matter of just one grade point, determined by the absence of a single distracting mark. In conclusion, the narrative that a rare 1978 D Eisenhower dollar could change your fortune is not a fairy tale. It is a documented reality for a handful of savvy collectors who recognize the value hidden in plain sight. While 33 million of these coins were struck, the window of opportunity to find one in the highest state of preservation is almost closed. They are out there, perhaps in a mint set tucked away in a closet, or in a small pile of inherited coins, waiting for an owner with a keen eye. This is the final roar of the big dollar, the last of its kind from the DenverMint, and its value is superimposed by history, rarity, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Do not spend that heavy dollar coin without a second look. Research it, cherish it, and you might just discover that you are holding the key to a future you never imagined, a genuine piece of American history worth a king's ransom.